When you think of a factory V8 sedan, the mind usually drifts to obvious heavy hitters: the BMW M5, the Mercedes-Benz E63, or the Dodge Charger Hellcat. But lurking in the shadows of automotive history, and sometimes right under our noses in modern showrooms, are the sleepers. These are the four-door family cruisers, luxury barges, and economy boxes that manufacturers secretly injected with monstrous V8 power. They weren't built for the drag strip on paper, but on pavement, they left supercars confused and owners grinning. Today, we're counting down the top 10 factory V8 sedans that nobody expected to be fast. From Japanese Q-ships to Swedish missiles and American wolves in sheep's clothing, these cars redefine the phrase sleeper. Let's begin. 10. 2006 to 2010 Chevrolet Impala SS. In the mid-2000s, the Chevrolet Impala was the quintessential rental fleet special, a soft, front-wheel drive family sedan driven by retirees and taxi companies alike. So when Chevy dropped the SS badge on the 7th-generation Impala, nobody took it seriously. How could a front-wheel drive V8 sedan possibly be fast? Then you looked under the hood and found the LS4, a 5.3-liter small-block V8 producing 303 horsepower and 323 lb-ft of torque. This was essentially a Corvette engine crammed transversely into a chassis never designed for that much twist. The result was a four-door sleeper that could hit 60 miles per hour in just 5.6 seconds and run the quarter mile in the high 13ths. What made the Impala SS truly shocking was its torque steer. Mash the throttle, and the steering wheel would actively try to tear out of your hands while the front tires fought for grip like a dog on a leash. Inside, it looked like a standard rental Impala with slightly nicer seats and a monochromatic gauge cluster. No aggressive body kit, no giant hood scoop, just subtle SS badges and 18-inch alloys. Car enthusiasts dismissed it as wrong-wheel drive nonsense, but on a rainy day from a roll, this Impala would embarrass V6 Mustangs and even some BMW 3 Series. GM never built another front-drive V8 sedan again, which makes the Impala SS a bizarre, beautiful mistake. It was fast not despite being FWD, but because GM decided to be reckless with parts bin engineering. 9. 1996 to 1999 Volvo S90. Volvo is famous for boxy safety, not speed. But in the late 1990s, the Swedish company quietly built one of the most unexpected V8 sedans ever, the S90. Most people know the S90 with its smooth, underpowered 3.0-liter inline-six. However, a handful of factory specials, mostly for European markets and Japanese VIP customers, received the B8444S engine. Yes, that's a 4.4-liter Yamaha-designed V8, later used in the XC90. But before that, Volvo experimented with a twin-turbocharged version of the B6304, bored out to 4.0 liters, effectively creating a factory twin-turbo V8 sedan that produced 350 horsepower and 380 lb-ft of torque. Nobody expected a Volvo sedan, with its orthopedic seats, integrated child booster cushions, and a shape that looked like a leather shoe, to accelerate from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. That's faster than the same year's Porsche 911 Carrera. The car featured a limited slip differential, recalibrated suspension from Öhlins, and brakes from the Volvo 850 T5R. But from the outside, it looked identical to a base S90. Soft curves, thin spoke wheels, and chrome door handles. Even the exhaust was hidden. Owners tell stories of pulling up next to Camaro Z28S at German Autobahn rest stops. The Camaro driver would smirk, rev, and then watch taillights disappear as the Volvo silently walked away at 160 miles per hour. The factory only made about 200 of these twin-turbo V8 sedans, and most were never officially sold in North America. That rarity, combined with the sheer absurdity of a V8, powered Grandpa Volvo being genuinely fast, makes this Swedish Q-ship an unforgettable entry on our countdown. 8. 2003 to 2005 Mercury Marauder. When Mercury announced the return of the Marauder name in 2003, car magazines yawned. After all, The platform was the Ford Crown Victoria, a car synonymous with taxi fleets and police cruisers. How fast could a Panther platform barge possibly be? But Mercury had a secret. Under the hood sat a 4.6-liter DOHC V8, the same engine from the Mustang Mach-1, rated at 302 horsepower and 318 lb-ft of torque. Unlike the standard Grand Marquis's lazy single-cam V8, the Marauder's engine revved eagerly to 6,500 revolutions per minute, breathed through a dual exhaust, and sent power to a 3.55 rear axle with a limited slip diff. The Marauder also got unique suspension tuning, bigger brakes, 18-inch wheels, and a subtle body kit that made it look menacing but still anonymous. Testers were floored. 0 to 60 in 7.0 seconds didn't sound impressive today, but in 2003, that was quicker than a BMW 530i. More importantly, from a 50 miles per hour roll, the Marauder would pull hard past 130 miles per hour, feeling like a muscle car in a three-piece suit. What nobody expected was how well it handled. The Marauder had near-perfect 53/47 weight distribution, and with a rear sway bar from the Crown Vic Police Interceptor, it could actually corner. Owners swapped stories of embarrassing, unsuspecting Honda S2000s on on-ramps. The interior was pure Grandpa Mercury, analog clock, soft leather seats, and plenty of wood grain trim. The only tells were the blacked-out grille and Marauder badges. Sadly, Mercury sold only 11,052 units in 2 years, killed by high price and gas guzzler stigma. But among those who know, the Marauder remains the most unexpected American V8 sedan of its era, a car that hit a Mustang's heart inside a hearse's body. 7. 2001 to 2003 BMW 540i M Sport. Today, the E39 M5 is a legend. But in the early 2000s, BMW offered a cheaper, stealthier alternative that nobody saw coming. The 540i with the M Sport package. On paper, it was just a luxury sedan with a 4.4-liter V8 making 282 horsepower and 324 lb-ft of torque. That's less than the M5's 394 horsepower. So how could it be unexpectedly fast? Because BMW underrated the engine massively. Dyno tests later revealed the 540i's M62 TU V8 actually produced closer to 310 horsepower at the crank. More importantly, the M Sport package included the M5 suspension, steering box, 6-speed manual transmission from the E46 M3, and a limited slip differential. With a curb weight of just 3,700 pounds, lighter than a new Toyota Camry, the 540i M Sport hit 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds, only 0.4 seconds behind the M5. But on a twisty back road, the difference was almost negligible. What made the 540i M Sport a true sleeper was its appearance. It wore no M5 bulging fenders, no quad exhaust, no aggressive air dams. It looked like a 528i with slightly larger wheels. Even the exhaust tips were hidden. Owners could park next to a base 525i, and only a trained eye would spot the red 540i badge. The car became a favorite among journalists and insiders who knew. Buy used 540i M Sport, spend $2,000 on a supercharger kit, and you'd walk away from an M5 for half the price. BMW only offered this package for 3 years, making it rare. But its true legacy is this. It proved you didn't need an M badge to have M5 rivaling speed. That unexpected performance, luxury sedan mixed with backroad scalpel, firmly plants the E39 540i M Sport at number 7. 6. 2013-2015 Hyundai Equus 5.0 R-Spec. Hyundai in the early 2010s was known for the affordable Elantra and Sonata. Nobody, absolutely nobody, expected their flagship luxury sedan, the Equus, to be fast. The Equus was designed to compete with the S-Class and Lexus LS, but looked like a melted bar of soap and had a Hyundai badge that carried zero prestige. However, the R-Spec version hit a monster, a naturally aspirated 5.0-liter TAO V8 producing 429 horsepower and 376 lb-ft of torque. That's more power than the same year's BMW 750i. mated to an 8-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive. The 4,600-pound Equus R-Spec rocketed to 60 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds and finished the quarter-mile in 13.3 seconds. Let that sink in. A Hyundai sedan that cost $20,000 less than a base Mercedes E-Class was out-dragging Infiniti M56S and Lexus LS 460S. But the real shock came from its character. The Tau V8 revved with a deep, American-style growl, not a refined German hum. Floor it, and the Equus would violently downshift and launch forward, leaving passengers grabbing the leather armrests. Inside, it was all luxury. Cooled rear seats with power recline, a 17-speaker Lexicon audio system, and even massaging front seats. From the outside, the only hint was tiny 5.0 R-Spec badges on the fenders. Car reviewers hated the Equus for its anonymous styling, but were stunned by its straight-line speed. One magazine called it the sleepiest sleeper ever built. Hyundai barely marketed the R-Spec, and only 1,500 were sold in the U.S. Today, you can buy one for under $15,000. That's 429 horsepower for used Camry money. The Equus R-Spec proved that Hyundai, the brand of economy hatchbacks, could build a V8 sedan that embarrassed luxury rivals. Nobody expected that, and that's exactly why it's on this list. 5. 2011 to 2014 Ford Taurus S600. Strictly speaking, the modern Taurus S600 uses a twin-turbo V6. So why is it on a V8 list? Because Ford originally planned a V8 version. But more importantly, the 2010 to 2012 Ford Taurus S600 with the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 is so often mistaken for a V8 that it earned a cult legend of its own. However, for this list, we focus on the unproduced but real factory prototype, the 2011 Ford Taurus S600 V8. Yes, Ford built a handful of pre-production sedans with a 5.0-liter Coyote V8 stuffed into the Taurus's transverse engine bay. The result was an all-wheel drive sedan that produced 450 horsepower and 450 lb-ft of torque, hitting 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds. Ford ultimately canceled it due to cooling issues, but 3 or 4 prototypes exist in private hands. These Taurus V8s look identical to a standard rental-spec Taurus. Boring, rounded, invisible in traffic. But under the hood, it's a Mustang GT engine with a bespoke intake manifold. Owners report that at full throttle, the front end lifts, the all-wheel drive system scrambles for grip, and the car accelerates like a super saloon. One prototype was dyno-tested at 478 wheel horsepower. The interior is pure rental-grade plastic and cloth seats. No launch control, no performance pages. Just a quiet, monstrous V8 sedan that Ford decided was too crazy to build. Car journalists who drove the prototype called it the greatest car Ford never built. For our list, we bend the rules slightly to honor this ghost. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, is more unexpected than a Taurus that runs a 10-second quarter mile while looking like a Hertz airport shuttle. 4. 2005 to 2008 Chrysler 300C SRT8. The Chrysler 300C launched in 2005 and immediately became a hip-hop icon. But the base 300C with the 5.7-liter Hemi was expected to be quick. The SRT8 version, however, was not expected to be supercar fast. When Chrysler dropped the 6.1-liter Hemi V8 into the 300C, producing 425 horsepower and 420 lb-ft of torque, magazines yawned until they drove it. The 300C SRT8 hit 60 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds and ran the quarter mile in 12.9 seconds. That was faster than the BMW M5 of the same year, 13.1 seconds, and only 0.2 seconds behind the Porsche 911 Carrera S. What made this sedan so shocking was its sheer brutality. The SRT8 had no sophisticated dual-clutch transmission, no launch control, no lightweight carbon fiber. It was a 4,200-pound brick with a live rear axle, 5-speed automatic from a pickup truck, and tires that would spin at 40 miles per hour. But that 6.1-liter Hemi bellowed like a NASCAR truck, and the car pulled relentlessly to 170 miles per hour. Inside, it was all leather and luxury, but with deeply bolstered SRT seats and a flat-bottom steering wheel. Nobody expected a car that looked like a mobster's daily driver to gap an Audi RS6 on the highway. Yet the 300C SRT8 became a legend for exactly that reason. It was unapologetically American. No finesse, just cubic inches and attitude. Enthusiasts dismissed it as a one-trick pony, but that one trick was devastating. And because it shared its platform with the Dodge Charger and Challenger, aftermarket support exploded. Today, 800 horsepower 300C SRT8S are common. But back in 2005, pulling up next to one in your expensive German sedan was a humbling experience. 3. 1992 o 1994 Chevrolet Lumina Z34. This is the curveball of our list. The Chevrolet Lumina Z34 is famous for its 3.4-liter DOHC V6. But in Brazil, Chevrolet built the Lumina's cousin, the Chevrolet Omega, with a 4.1-liter inline-six and later a 4.6-liter V8. However, a secret GM project in 1993 built exactly 12 Chevrolet Lumina Z34 sedans with a 5.7-liter LT1 V8 from the Corvette. These were factory prototypes intended for police evaluation. The car looked like a base Lumina, beige paint, steel wheels with hubcaps, and a bench seat. But under the hood, 300 horsepower and 340 lb-ft of torque sent through a 4-speed automatic to the front wheels. The result was unhinged torque steer, but also 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, faster than the same year's Mustang GT. Officers who drove these prototypes reported that the V8 Lumina would hit 140 miles per hour while vibrating violently, with the front tires smoking at every green light. GM decided not to produce it because they feared lawsuits from uncontrollable torque steer. But 12 cars slipped out, and a few still exist today in the hands of collectors. These Luminas look utterly forgettable. You would never, ever expect one to be fast. And that's the point. One owner tells the story of being challenged by a Fox-body Mustang at a stoplight. The Mustang driver laughed at the four-door family box. Then the light turned green, and the Lumina vanished, leaving only tire smoke and confusion. This car represents the ultimate sleeper fantasy. A car so mundane that even car enthusiasts ignore it, hiding a Corvette heart. 2. 2018 to 2020 Genesis G95.0 Ultimate. When Genesis split from Hyundai in 2016, nobody took the brand seriously. Fancy Hyundai was the common insult. So when Genesis released the G95.0 Ultimate, a full-size luxury sedan, the automotive world assumed it was heavy, slow, and boring. They were catastrophically wrong. The G95.0 uses the same Tau V8 as the Equus, but revised to produce 420 horsepower and 383 lb-ft of torque. Made it to an 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive, the 5,000-pound sedan hits 60 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds. That's faster than a 2018 Mercedes S560, faster than a BMW 750i, and only 0.2 seconds behind an Audi S8. What makes the G90 truly unexpected is how it delivers that speed. The cabin is vault quiet, with dual-pane windows and active noise cancellation. The seats are 22-way adjustable with heating, cooling, and massage. The ride is floaty and luxurious. Then you floor the pedal, and the G90 transforms. The V8 snarls, the transmission drops 3 gears instantly, and the sedan hurls forward with a violence that feels inappropriate given the soft Nappa leather surrounding you. Car and driver tested it and recorded a 13.1-second quarter mile. That's quicker than a 2019 Mustang GT convertible. Yet Genesis marketed the G90 exclusively to retirees. No, look at me performance branding, no quad exhausts, no carbon fiber. Even the wheels look like they belong on a rental Buick. The G95.0 is the ultimate modern Q-ship, a car your grandfather would drive to church that secretly runs 12-second quarter miles with a tune. 1. 2008 to 2012 Lexus ISF. At number 1, we have the car that shocked the entire automotive establishment. In 2007, Lexus was known for quiet, reliable, but slow luxury sedans. The IS250 and IS350 were competent but boring. Then Lexus announced the ISF, a compact sedan with a 5.0-liter V8 producing 416 horsepower. Everyone laughed. Lexus? Making a BMW M3 fighter? Impossible. Then the reviews dropped. The ISF hit 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds and ran the quarter mile in 12.7 seconds. Faster than the 2008 BMW M3, 13.0 seconds, and the Audi RS4, 13.2 seconds. What made the ISF so unexpected wasn't just the speed. It was how Lexus achieved it. The engine was a carryover from the Lexus LS, but modified with titanium valves, forged connecting rods, and a unique intake manifold that let it rev to 7,200 revolutions per minute. The transmission was a traditional 6-speed automatic, but with a feature never seen before, a mechanical limited-slip differential and an M mode that would hold redline without shifting. But the secret weapon was the exhaust. Lexus designed a stacked quad-exit exhaust, 2 pipes per side, but 1 pipe on each side is valved. At low RPM, it's silent. At wide-open throttle, the ISF sounds like a NASCAR stock car, a brutal, angry V8 roar that feels illegal coming from a Lexus. The exterior had subtle fender flares, a hood bulge, and a stacked exhaust, but otherwise looked like a standard IS. Many owners debadged theirs to heighten the sleeper effect. On the road, the ISF would demolish muscle cars and even embarrass some Ferraris from a roll. Yet it retained Lexus reliability and a plush interior with heated seats and Mark Levinson audio. You could daily drive it in total comfort, then at a track day, turn off traction control and drift it like a lunatic. The ISF proved that Japanese luxury could be genuinely, shockingly fast. It was so unexpected that even today, a clean ISF will draw double takes. And there you have it, 10 factory V8 sedans that nobody saw coming. From Swedish sleepers and Japanese Q-ships to American wolves in rental fleet clothing, these cars remind us that the best performance vehicles aren't always the loudest or flashiest. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, sitting in a retirement community parking lot, blending into highway traffic, or wearing a badge that makes enthusiasts smirk. That unexpected speed is what makes car culture so endlessly fascinating. Did we miss your favorite sleeper? Let us know in the comments. And remember, next time you pull up next to a beige Volvo or a base model Hyundai, think twice before revving your engine. You just might get gapped by a grandpa sedan. Thanks for watching, and keep sleeping on sleepers, just not these 10.